Hey my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and this video is the first of two using this week's Gems Nail Systems acrylic colour of the week, this gorgeous neon triangle glitter acrylic Frankie. She is so much fun. I love using her. So if you want to see how this set was created, then please keep watching. So I'm working on ebony for today's design, and yes, ebony will be here from start to finish in this video. If you saw my videos last week, you will know what I'm talking about. I have applied the Gems natural stiletto tips and I've left them at the full length. I really love working with these tips and I love the shape of them. Here she is, the star of the week. This is the fabulous Fun Time Frankie. Frankie is from the First to Bloom glitter acrylic collection and she is such a fun mix. She's these neon rainbow triangles all the way through, loads of them packed in there, and some multi-cut iridescent. She is just a really fun mix to work with. I'm also using a little touch of blush, one of our cover acrylics, and of course you can't do an acrylic design without crystal clear. I ummed and ahed about what I was going to pair Frankie with in this set, and I settled on our angel mesh from the nail team. So I pulled out 4 of the colours that were going to work with the colours in the glitter, but to be honest, any colours are going to work because there is everything in there. I originally was going to use some rainbow netting, but I think that would have worked better on the clear tips, so I moved away from that and I went with these. And I actually love the contrast between the neon matte glitters and these at the end. And this is a design I have done before with foils, and I will link this video because I did it on the channel and I wanted to recreate it but with something different. I will pop the names of each of the mesh I've used in the description box, but you might have seen them when they were on screen. And I'm just taking them out of the packet now, and I'm cutting a little strip to size. So I want from tip to roughly where I've stuck the nail onto is going to have this angel mesh, not worrying about any overhang because that'll all be sorted out. So I've got all my little strips cut to size, and of course I'm gonna need my little bit of plastic. You have seen me use this many times with materials and chunky glitters and things. It really is a must-have in my book when I'm applying something like this. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of that off of my massive sheet. One of those angel meshes is slightly folded over. You might be able to see the orange one, so I'm just going to lay something flat on top of that just to try and unfold it a little bit, but to be honest it didn't really matter because once I applied it, it was fine. And here I'm just working out which one I want to put on which nail, and you will get an idea of where I'm placing this. So I'm not starting with a thin clear base here. I am going in with my clear acrylic just at the tip where I want the angel mesh. I'm putting most of the product in the centre of the nail because otherwise it's going to spread and leak out the sides. Pop the angel mesh where I want it, and it's just going to stick to that acrylic, so it's not going to move around. Coming in with my little bit of plastic, wrapping it tight over the nail and pinching it underneath, and then I'm using my other hand to really press down on top to help that acrylic set and stick that mesh in place. I'm moving on to the next nail while the plastic is still on top just to help speed up the process, and we're just doing the same thing. So apply the mesh to that wet acrylic, come in with a little bit of plastic, pull it tight, pinch it underneath, and this plastic creates a barrier between the product and my hand, and it allows me to really press down and push down and rub that product to help the acrylic set and use my body heat to warm it up without me having to touch any product. If you wore gloves, you would find you could do it like that, but I find it messy with gloves. I love using my little bit of plastic, and you can see I'm really rubbing it. This is helping heat up and set that acrylic. And while that one's setting, I'm just coming in and I'm trimming away the excess material down those side walls. Obviously these hands have no body heat at all, they are just a hand, they're not real. So by using that bit of plastic, it allows me to use my body heat to warm up the acrylic and help it set quicker, because otherwise it's going to take ages and you may find some of that angel mesh has lifted and not stuck down. And I'm just repeating the process on all of these nails. I want to make sure I really pinch it at the very tip of the nail underneath to make sure it's stuck right from where that base nail free edges to the tip, because sometimes that tip can just stick up a little bit if you don't hold it in place. It takes a little bit longer when the weather's a little bit cooler for the acrylic to set, because obviously it, you know, the temperature does affect it, but it doesn't take too long. I seem to have left quite a bit in here, but you can see I'm just holding it in. I must have been faffing around doing something with my other hand, and then I'm coming back and trimming away the excess. I'm also going to trim away that little bit where that sort of here on the where the nail bed is going to be, because it was sticking up and I didn't want it there and it was going to be a nightmare. So any little bits that are sticking up, if you don't want them, trim them away. If you do want them, go in with a little bit more acrylic, hold your plastic down on top, and it'll stick it down. Now if you would like a more in-depth video where I slow down the process and really talk through applying materials or applying big chunky glitters or things, please let me know, because it's something I can do on here, or I can do it on a live on TikTok. So if there's something you want to see in a little bit more in depth, where I'm not doing a full design, I'm just showing you how I would apply this material, please let me know. So I'm doing the final nail, and you can see here where I'm really squeezing it at the tip. This is going to make sure it is fully stuck down at the tip. Leaving the plastic in place just until I know it's 100% stuck down, trimming away the excess on the ring finger, and then here we go, we are all stuck down. I'm just going to leave that one for a moment, make sure it's fully stuck down before I cut away. So I'm starting off and I'm applying blush just at the cuticle and just feathering it down, overlapping that angel mesh ever so slightly. This is just going to give me sort of sealing in the top of the angel mesh where that base nail free edge is, but I don't want to cover it. I want to keep as much of the angel mesh on show as I can, bearing in mind I'm going to cover some of it with the glitter acrylic. And because this is a cover powder, you don't need a thin clear base, which is why I didn't bother going in with one, because if you are working on an actual client, you can file down the cover powder thin and go in with something else over top. But if you were using a colour, I would recommend going in with clear acrylic first. So just adding a little touch more of blush on the index finger because I wasn't fully happy with it, but we're going to keep it as thin as we possibly can because the glitter acrylic is going to go over top, it's going to overlap and everything's going to need encapsulating, so we're not creating bulk. Just going back now to the ring finger, cutting away the excess material, and then I'm going to apply blush on the final two nails. And to be honest, this is quite nice as it is. If I wasn't all about showcasing the Frankie in this video, you could leave these nails as they are, maybe add a few crystals, maybe bring that blush down a little bit further to really hide the join, or as I said, you could add some crystals, or you could go in with some hand painting. So this itself is quite a nice nail on its own or with some decoration, but we're using Frankie, and as I said, I love the contrast between this really soft iridescent material and then the neon funness of Frankie. And don't forget, I've done another video similar to this but using foil, and I have linked to that, so do check this out, or that one out. Just finishing off on the pinky, and then we are going to apply our Frankie. And yeah, Frankie as colour of the week is sort of the star of this design, but I wanted to show that just with a little touch of Frankie, she is still sort of the centerpiece of the design, because she's got so much going on. She's so fun. You don't need loads of her to really stand out and show off. So I'm using her to do the swoosh special, because I don't feel like I've done a swoosh for a while. So I really want to pack the Frankie where the join is between the blush and the mesh, and then I'm going up one side to the cuticle and just down the other side a little bit. I want to focus so I'm covering more of blush than the angel mesh, but obviously I've got to cover some of the angel mesh. And I think, well, I love the finished design, so I think I got the balance just right. And I'm using the tip of the brush just to move those triangles around, just pushing them some down a little bit further, feathering them out, so we've got a mishmash of colours. We haven't got all of one colour in a blob, and that it's not going to be a straight line, but I don't want it to be too rigid. I want a nice soft and flowing design, and I'm doing soft flowing motions with my arms as I talk through. One day I need to film me doing the voiceover, just so you can see what I'm like with my hands and my face and everything, because I think that would be a bit of a laugh. And I'm doing the same thing on every nail. It's just a Frankie swoosh. And as I said, I loved how this nail turned out. I was a bit like, is Frankie going to work with the angel mesh? Is she a bit too much for this? But I think it turned out great, and I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments. So we're just finishing off. You can see using the tip of the brush just to move Frankie around a little bit. I also love the black and the white in with the neon, and you'll see that in my next video. Design is all done, and we're going to encapsulate in clear acrylic now. This is where I'm going to build up the apex, the structure. We want to make sure everything is fully encapsulated so we don't file any of that design away. If you find the mesh starts to lift, just go in with a little bit of glue down either side wall, and that will stick it back in place and just secure it before you encapsulate. And then using my Katie Barnes e-file and e-file bits and my Gems hand files, I will refine the shape of the nails, tidy up the side walls, bring it back to that nice stiletto shape, and this design will be ready for the finishing touches. But as always, I'm going to do that off camera. Here she is, all filed, ready to finish off. This one's looking a little bit dusty, so let's go in and give it a good clean up, get rid of any dust or fluff or any bits I don't want in that finished nail, and especially around the cuticle, because that is where the dust really attracts on these plastic hands. It's like it gathers there. It's like, hey, come on, let's have a cuticle party. And this design had everything it needed. As you could add some crystals, but for me, this was spot on. So we're just going to bring the queen, that is Tina Toppin, and top coat all of these nails. It's going to brighten them up, bring them back to life, and really finish them off. And we are going to have that iridescence in the mesh. We're going to have the iridescence glitter that's packed in with Frankie, plus that neon matte, and I just love how this set came to life, and sort of the contrast with the iridescence, the softness, and the neon matte. I was so pleased with this set. Some of them could have done with a bit filing a little bit further down, but honestly I was struggling. Since dislocating my shoulder, I've been sort of back at it every day, all day, trying to do all the things I missed out on doing, and truthfully I've just overdone it, and I'd hit a bit of a wall last week when I was finishing these designs off, and I almost scrapped them altogether. I thought I'm not going to manage to finish filing them, but I did. In the lamp for 60 seconds, and this Fun Time Angel Frankie design is finished, and I love it. I absolutely love this design, and I would obviously love to know what you guys think of it, so do please let me know in the comments section. Frankie is such a fun glitter mix. I really enjoy playing with Frankie, and it always pushes me to come up with new ideas, but I loved how this one turned out. And you could do it on a shorter nail as well, and as I said, I've done something similar with foils, so there are so many variations of this design you could do. So yeah, if you've got Frankie, please go and have some fun with her, and if you do, please share your designs with me. I'm going to leave all the product details in the description box, as I always do. Frankie is on offer until Sunday evening. She's currently just £5, but from Monday morning she will no longer be at that price. But fear not, because you can use Helen 5% off all full price products at gemsnailsystems.com. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, please leave me any comments, and if you're new to my channel or you've just not gotten around to it, I would love to have you join me here, so do please click that subscribe button. I try and upload a minimum of 2 videos a week, so I would love to have you join my little community here. As I said, this is the first of 2 designs, so I will be back again in a couple of days time with Frankie number 2, so do please come and check that one out. But for today, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Mwah.